YouTube, friends, family, bushcraft buddies. Time for a story. And this story might hit your funny bone a little bit. But there's a couple of guys I'm going to talk about. I'm going to put their names down in the description, because they're part of this story. You can go check out their channel. They do some real good stuff. But I told you in my last video, I went to Odessa, Tennessee for a spring meetup. It was last May. And wanted to meet these guys. Been watching them on YouTube for a while. And wanted to meet a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them down there. But these two guys in particular is my story. I think it was the second night there that I stayed. I got this little blue camper. And it's a motorcycle camper. It's made by a company called Time Out. It just folds up in a matter of about 10 minutes, folds out in a matter of about 10 minutes, and then you got a little tweaking to do, and you got a pretty nice little camper to stay in. It's black, and it looks real good on the back of the bike, and the bike's black, it's black, but when you fold it out, it's blue. The tarp's blue. So I set this up in the middle of the night when I get there one night. It was like a Thursday night. I got there, and I set the camper up in the middle of the night and had a couple of guys help me. And I stayed the first night, no problems. But we knowed there was a bear in the area because somebody kind of got chased off by a bear before we got there. So we knew there was a bear in the area. And we had these little hangy thingies way up there that you hang your food on, hang anything, your drinks, your food, your bags of food. And we're supposed to hang these up real high at night or put them in the car or whatever to keep bears away from getting into our food. That's a way, of keeping the bears out of your camp. Well, I think it was the second night there I went to sleep. And I heard this ruckus outside of my little blue camper. It sounded like I was tripping over things and knocking things over. And I'd never been around bears before, and I thought, oh heck, there's a bear in a camp. And if I lay here real still, maybe he won't hear me in here. And he'll bypass me and go somewhere else. So I laid there real still, and I listened to the ruckus going on out there, and I really thought there was a bear in my camp. Well, the next morning I got up, and I hadn't met a lot of the guys yet. I'd watched them on YouTube, corresponded with them a little bit, but never really met them face to face. And I got up, and I thought, well, I'll go down there and have coffee at the next campsite down. I know them guys from YouTube, and I'll go down there and introduce myself, have coffee with them, and get to know them a little bit. Well, when I walk into the camp, there sits Bob 8089 and Billy Joe Denny. And they're sitting there talking. And I walk in and I said, hey, how you guys doing? They said, all right. And I said, I think there was a bear in my camp last night. And they said, a bear in your camp? And I said, yeah, I heard an awful ruckus outside the camp. And I laid there real still, hoping he'd go somewhere else. And I can't remember if it was Bob 8089 or if it was Billy Joe Denny. Looked at me and they said, hey, buddy, are you the one staying down that little blue thing? And I said, yeah, that's me. And they said, well, we was down there last night. And I said, you was? They said, yeah, we want to tell you something. We don't mind if you snore. But when you snore and you sound like a bear, we're going to come a-running. So if you want to snore, don't sound like a bear. So I was snoring. And they come down to my camp to chase the bear out of my camp. And they was tripping over stuff and making noise. And and they was gonna come down and save me and chase a bear out of my camp. Well, when they thought I was a bear, of course I thought they was a bear, so they was coming down to chase the bear out. And I was laying real still waiting on the bear to leave. And there was no bear at all in our camp. Matter of fact, I never seen a bear in the camp the whole time we was there, but I guess that tells me how loud I snore. And it tells them next year not to get so worried. But I'm going to put Bob 8089 down there. And I'm going to put Billy Joe Denny down there. And you guys go check them out and sub them. Because they put out some good stuff. While you're down there, ask them about the bear in the camp. We'll see you on the next video. God bless. Have a good night.